Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited you're going to join me today for this dragon painting. I'm going to be working on a 9x12 black primed canvas today, and I'll list all of these colors and brushes below in the description of this video for you. So without getting my mop brush wet, I'm going to take titanium white and some lemon yellow, and I'm just going to start blending the paint around in circles, so clockwise and counterclockwise, just to get a nice blend and working that paint out of my brush. And then I'm going to go into more yellow this time with a little bit of white and some of that neon red. So we're really going to start playing up on the colors now, starting on the edge of the canvas and working our way kind of into the center, but we're going to leave the center of the canvas the brightest. Now I've just got another mop brush here because my other one was losing hairs. The next brush I'm going to be using is a really large flat Filbert brush. You can use any flat brush or blending brush of your choice. All I'm doing is pulling and blending and creating light little streaks for some subtle sun rays. So I'm kind of pulling off that paint, and then I'm going to bring in three colors now, three of my favorite colors. We've got sky blue, light blue violet, and turquoise. So I'm going to take a little bit of each here, and I'm going to start tapping and then blending around, using more of the blue violet on the right side, creating some beautiful clouds. Now I love all these colors together for a sky. I tend to use these quite often for my backgrounds, you guys may have noticed. So I'm just going to do little circles, soft little brush strokes, little taps, playing up on more of the turquoise down here on the bottom left, and using a little bit of white. Now I've got another mop brush here. Any brush of your choice is fine, you guys. I really like a mop brush because it makes the paint spread and blend so softly, but that's just my preference. Now I've got a liner brush here, and I'm taking some of my neon red. I'm going to be using some neon pink a little bit later on with my white, and I'm going to create just little squiggles, soft little squiggles, for some peaks and some light from the sun, just really hitting and outlining some of these clouds. So I'm going to be using more paint than water for this. So you can add these wherever you want in your clouds. It's really fun to create little peaks in your clouds like this. And I always recommend tinting your white. And then what I want to do is create some soft rays, again, tinted white with either the yellow, the pink, or the neon red. And I'm using a flat brush this time. You can also use a Filbert brush. Those work just fine. So you notice I'm going to be going inside some of those little holes in between my clouds and pulling and flicking. And it's almost like I'm creating a sort of a starburst effect. So I'm having some sun rays going all the way around, down like every angle. Very softly. I've got lots of tutorials on how to paint sun rays, and I'll have a few videos listed below if you guys want to get better at creating sun rays and learn a little bit more on how to use them. So here I've got my neon magenta. It's the same as neon pink. I really love the way this color filters and layers over with this blue. And I'm just going to start playing up on the colors, layering in some more of those little half circle bubble squiggles, whatever you want to call them. Again, using a little liner brush, more paint than water. And for this you might need to, well, you're going to need to reload your brush quite often because the liner brush doesn't hold that much paint. So here I'm using more of the neon pink. As you can see, the intensity is stronger there. And then I'm just going to very carefully pull and flick some soft little streaks for some sun rays with a clean brush. I've got some of my lemon yellow and some white, and I'm using Color by Felix paints. I really love them, and I'll leave a link below for his website where you can, if you guys want to purchase your own. I've been recommending his paints for a while now. I'm not an affiliate or in partnership with him at all. He was just kind enough to send me them, and I've tried them out, and I'm really honest with you guys all the time about what I like, what I don't like. So they're really great paints. So I'm just going to keep building up on these sun rays here, using some more of my yellow and my white, little bits of pink, little bits of red, all those beautiful warm colors. What we want is to create a very soft light glowy sky before we add our dark dragon in there, just for to create more of a mood and intensity. We want that contrast, but we want it to be on the softer side too. We don't want anything to look too scary, so I'm not going to use a lot of black when we start painting the dragon. And if you guys want, you can sketch your dragon out first. You guys know me by now and know how I work. I just approach everything freehand with my brush. That's just me. So I'm mixing some neon pink now with my sap green. No water at all. And this is Grumbacher, just in case you guys were interested. It's actually called Hooker's Green, but they're very similar. So I'm just gonna go straight to the canvas and start freehanding the head and work my way to the neck and then down to the wings and the body and the tail. I'm not going to stress too much about making this look perfect. I just want a general idea that this is a dragon up here. And by the way, I should mention this is inspired by the movie Aragon. It's a really beautiful movie. This particular scene I made a little bit different. The background I made up, and the silhouette of the dragon is inspired by one of the scenes in the movie. You can check out the original image for this. It's on Pinterest and almost anywhere you want to look on the internet you can find it, but it's got lots of trees and kind of like if you were laying down in the grass looking up, that kind of a view. So I just wanted to make it my own, and I decided to go with my pretty pastel type of sky. So I'm going to come in now with some more of the details on the wings, again still using that sap or Hooker's Green with a little bit of red, and that's just to mute the green a little bit. I wanted a nice dark color other than black, and I quite often do that in my paintings, you guys know that. I will be, however, using a little bit of Mars Black towards the end just for some fine lines and details and an extra edginess to parts of this dragon. I'm going to go a little bit thinner with the paint on the halfway down the wings on towards the bottoms of the wings to make it look like there's some light from that sun filtering through slightly, and then I'm going to go darker towards the top of the wings, adding a little bit more, playing up more on the color with the neon pink and the neon red. Okay, so I'm working on the next wing now, and I'm not too concerned and overly stressed out about trying to make it look exactly like the other one. I'll do my best, but if it's a little bit larger or a little bit smaller or even a little bit lopsided, I'm not gonna worry about it. As long as I get the general idea and we know that it's a dragon flying up above with the right colors and light and shadow, so on and so forth, then that's just enough. That's all I need. But you guys can definitely take a little bit more time on your dragons if you want. You can sketch out a different type of dragon. It's totally up to you. But I'm going to do the same thing on this side, still using those same colors and trying to get that soft light filtered through effect. And I'm going to come in and start adding a few little lines in here roughly with this little flat brush. And then I'm just going to go over with a little bit more of my green and then build up, like I said earlier, with that neon pink. That looks so cool. I wasn't going to add the neon pink, but for some reason I just thought I should try that. I know that it would be complementary with the green, and I'm really glad that I did because it just gives it such a neat look, I think. But you guys can use any colors that you want, of course. Now it will dry a little bit darker, of course. If you want yours to be really bright though, I recommend doing a little bit of a white underpainting first, drying it off, and then coming in with your bright pink. But you do want it to be toned down and a little bit darker because this is supposed to be more in silhouette and shadow, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, so once I've added enough of the pink here, I'm just going to scumble off a little bit of the bottom part of the wings here and bring that one up a little bit higher on the right side. It was just a little bit too low for me. Yes, I'm definitely not out for perfection, but I want to get it somewhat balanced looking here. And then I'm going to go over again in the body in the middle there with straight sap green and pull the tail out just a little bit longer and skinnier. And I picked up just a little bit of that blue violet by accident, but it worked out fine here. In this case, I'm just blending it with a little bit more of the sap green over top of part of that pink. I want it to be, it was just a little bit too bright before. Although I like the way that bright pink looked, it was competing too much with the pretty colors in the background, so I put another layer of shadow over top with that sap green. And then in here I've got a little Filbert brush and I'm scumbling off carefully a little bit of that paint, leaving part of the wings looking like they've got that light filtering through them. And I think that's what really makes a big difference when I was painting these wings. I like that effect, so again, you guys, you're just going to carefully scumble off some of the paint. If you're unable to do that because your paint is dried and it's just not working, then what you can do is just go over these areas that I'm taking off here. You'll go over with a thin amount of white paint mixed with a bit of yellow and just a little bit of green, so you just want it to be a lighter shade. So now I'm coming back with a little bit more pink. I'm going to try to make this work because I love that color and I really want to incorporate a little bit more of it here. As long as I'm able to keep it darker than the sky, it should be okay. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be doing some more dragons in the future because I enjoyed this and it kind of brought me back to my first years of painting when I painted a lot of dragons. So I'm coming in here with my Filbert again, just going to scumble off a little bit because I made the neck a little bit too wide there. It's got to be a little bit thinner, and then it goes in and kind of curls down a bit and dips down for the wings. And then there's these little tiny little dabs and lines right in the middle of those wings at the top. I'm going to carefully come in with a little bit more of my sap green, making the body a little bit thicker and the tail just a little bit longer. Now right in here, I wanted to bring it up a little bit in brightness, so I've tinted my white with that lemon yellow. Oops, I'm just going to take a little bit of it off there. And I'm going to get as close as I can to the wings and the dragon body and add an extra glow and softness using again that white, titanium white and lemon yellow. And then I'm going to pull gently for some subtle, very, very soft and subtle sun rays here. And see how pretty that looks over top of the blue, and all those colors just work really, really well together. Okay, using a liner brush, I got it a little bit wet. You definitely don't want your brush to be dripping. And I've got some Mars Black, and I'm just going to carefully outline and add some more contrast in here. This is really going to make all the other colors stand out and make this dragon look a little bit more 3D. Okay, I'm just going to come in with these little lines that meet up with the points on the bottom of the wings. And I'm going to do 3 to 4 of them. Well, wherever you have one of those little points that come down, yeah, so you're just going to line it up, and they're going to have a slight curve to each of them. You want to try to do this in one stroke to get a nice, smooth, seamless line. And I'm going to begin adding a little bit more of my green on the bottom of the wings again, and then I'm going to come in with some more of the pink. Okay, so still using my little Filbert brush, I'm taking a little bit of white, a little bit of neon, or not neon yellow, sorry, lemon yellow, and the sap green. I'm just going to add another layer here on the bottom of these wings, And then I'm going to, so it's like halfway down the wing, down into the little points, the pointy parts of the wings there at the bottom. And then I'm going to go over to the neon pink. And I've washed my brush off first, and I'm not using any water at all. This is just straight, heavy-bodied neon pink. And I'm going to apply a thin layer over top of the darker part of the wings, which are at the top. When it dries, it's going to look darker than this, but you're going to have that nice, deep, rich, warm color that's going to make this painting look really, really cool. I'm going to add just a little bit more of my black to his tail and his body, just the littlest amount to make it slightly thicker. Then I'm going to add a little bit more of my sap green, picking up a bit of that black that I just applied there, and making his wings come down a little bit lower. With a clean, damp Filbert brush, I'm going to lightly scumble off a little bit of that green now. Alright, this painting is all done. I really enjoyed working on this, and I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and like this video. I'll see you next time. Bye!